did learn is that, sometimes the better way to win is just playing for his team, right? And he did take a little bit of a step back when you think about his play throughout the summer split in LCS. He was actually less lane dominant than he was pre-MSI in spring, but it was more because he was playing towards facilitating his teammates, playing picks where he didn't always have to dominate in lane. And it's going to be Lucian Nami for EG, so does like a Draven or a really aggressive counter just kind of get slammed down?
Yeah, that's where I'm a little bit worried here, because not only can you take the counter pick here for Duckdam on that bot side, but also the fact that Nuguri can take the Aatrox. I mean, Nuguri has been absolutely insane on this top side, plus the fact as well, we've kind of seen Impact struggle in the Aatrox matchups domestically as well. So, I mean, if I'm favoring one side, it'd be Nuguri on the top end.
I mean, honestly, it might just be the Sejuani run back, right? Earlier today, we saw him, the last second pivot over towards the Aatrox.
You know what that means? Fiora.
The least likely pick for Impact of all time. Impact is for sure playing a tank, I feel like, into this. I don't think... Part of the problem is a lot of his niche picks that are really strong are actually quite poor into Aatrox.
Yeah.
GP often really struggles early into Aatrox. Shen, it's actually a really bad matchup, for Shen as well. When you're thinking about all the other tanks, Aatrox kind of beats those too. So it does become tricky. I wouldn't be surprised if we just saw like a Gwen or something, to be honest, from Impact. But we'll have to find it out because, yeah, Draven coming through, it's going to be Lucian Nami unless they're doing a crazy pivot towards like Lucian mid, but I can't see that happening. So it's going to be a scary bot side already for EG.
And that's why I wasn't the biggest fan of the Lucian pick, right? Because now, as you say, you've got the counter pick there and the Draven. You've kind of given over a lot of power on that top side. So I want to see now if they can try and prioritize something in the jungle for Inspired as well. But this is where I need to see them kind of have some answer for the fact that they've given across these two big power picks towards Damwon King.
Are we going to get it? The famous Champions Q, JoJo Singed. Last chance for us to see it coming through. He's thinking about it.
So every single pick here, I think, has gone to the last second. Every single team in both cases has taken as long as possible. 3, 2, 1. Akali is blocked for JoJo Pyun.
Hey, his face.
But Akali could flex top for Impact if he gets singed after all. What if?
No.
No, it's not happening.
For starters, no.
For starters, no.
Akali, really exciting pick. You wanted JoJo to have a little bit more agency, something he could get aggressive on. This is going to be that for him. But Renata would make a lot of sense here. The Renata ulti, very, very strong as a duo as well with that Draven. It's a lot of power down there for Duckdam and Kellen. And we'll have to see, where they're going to start focusing those bans. You begin to throw more and more towards Inspired. Try to take your jungle on 4, really pinch the pool of Inspired. Or just ban away more comfort for Impact. Ban away a couple of tanks, try to put him in a carry versus carry matchup that he's likely not really going to be ready for.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm EG, I definitely want to try and target Showmaker, try and get these picks away that can actually like push in and help out on that bottom side, right? Because if you start to have mid-prio and you've got the Renata Draven, it sets you up so well to play aggressive on this bottom side, and especially when you've got the melee mid, it makes it very difficult to actually try and control that lane. So I like that they're focusing Showmaker at the moment, and I think this is where we'll have to see. I mean, you still got the Sylas and stuff there for Showmaker and kind of enter into the melee versus melee, but at least trying to get rid of some of these big control mates here as well could work out well.
Well, time taken down on the picks and bans right now. They do need engage on the EG side. Ornn still up. Hecarim could have been an option, realistically. As Via going to drop off as fighter junglers out of Inspired. Of course, the Maokai is already gone. Sejuani was available. If he wants to play tank jungler, he certainly can. Sedge's engage is okay. And we can still have the angle at just full tank for Impact.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely go to it, but it's always going to be a little bit tough. And I think the composition may just demand it regardless because they do kind of need some sort of engage here. And that is going to be the difficulty. Taking away the Hecarim means it's harder to bring that engage in from the jungle here for Inspired. And they could take it for jungle and just really pinch the pool, which I do think is actually pretty smart. So they will do that. Double jungle ban plus a pinch, which I just think is very intelligent because this could have gone both jungle or top here for EG. I do think you could look towards Trundle and like Ornn, something along those lines if you want. Just go tank top, go Trundle as an answer for the Sejuani, and hope that you can really set that up. To me, it makes the most sense. Yes, it's a bad matchup into Aatrox, but I think it rounds out the composition well. And I do think it helps to really set up a lot of these picks.
Yeah, I think you just got to take the L here. There isn't really any good matchup for Impact in the top side, and realistically fall a little bit behind as the Ornn. It doesn't matter too much. And I agree with the Trundle. I think the Trundle would be your best pick here, right? Not only is it good at taking away a lot of the stats with Sejuani, but also the fact that you can try and put these pillars down on the bot side, make both the Draven and the Renata very vulnerable here.
It's not a good Rammus game. Sorry, guys.
I mean, Trundle makes the most sense, but they're just actually going Bel'Veth. Okay, so we saw it from Blabber yesterday after they were knocked out. Now we're seeing it here from Inspired after he has been knocked out. Is going to be, of course, a higher damage pick here, but Taliyah feels like such an obvious answer for Showmaker. You know, just looking at his champion pool and the ability to play up towards the sides, try to get Nuguri or the Draven way ahead. There's a lot of dashes on this team as well. Orin, Bel'Veth, Akali, Lucian all play those dashes, but instead he goes to Sylas. Really thought he was going to go for it.
Yeah, I thought we would see the Taliyah come through, especially, I mean, just the fact that if you're Damwon, you can look at this and go, oh, there's a Bel'Veth. Well, we can take control of topside, make it really difficult to play for Rift Heralds, and making sure that you just don't really have an opportunity as EG to snowball this one and make sure that you're in a decent spot. So I think for Damwon, you still have a decent amount of control here, though, like really strong mid jungle and at least a really strong skirmishing on the top side with the triple melee there. So there's still opportunities here for Damwon to make sure that EG are uncomfortable when we get to that 8-minute mark.
Absolutely, and it does help to supplement their engage, because right now you mostly just have Sejuani ult, but now you have the stolen Orin ultis there as an option, stolen Nami ulti, you have the Lucian obviously for some poke, plus Akali, of course, really great in those all-in, so some decent ultimates there for Showmaker to steal, and I think this sets him up better for the 1v1 than something like the Taliyah would have been. The Taliyah would have been more kind of a denial pick, you know, shutting down some of the playmaking.
Championship is going to be a single game they've won. Will they find their second? In so doing, they will lock Damwon into second place in the group, but of course, the fate is still in their hands for the LCK third seed. A win here, a win next game, and then a tiebreak will get them first, following in T1's footsteps.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Gonna be a fun one. Really important win here for Damwon, as you're saying. You know, really wanting to get first place. I think first place in groups is so ridiculously important this year because there are so many beastly teams that you could run into in quarters that it could just be a death sentence, right? Being able to actually get first really does up your chances of getting to semis and beyond, because when you're thinking about the very top level teams in this event, you know, you're really wanting to dodge teams like Gen.G, you know, JDG, you know, Rogue obviously having a great week one as well. And so a lot of these teams are going to be very, very frightening.
Especially, oh, never mind. I'm being told that I can toss back to the casters and we're back in a game. So everyone, please enjoy.
Thank you, Dash. We are here and ready to go. I have a League of Legends fact, okay? Oh. Evil Geniuses are undefeated with a gold lead at 15 in the group stage here.
Wow.
So in 14 minutes, if they're ahead in gold, they're definitely going to win.
They're only 13 and a half minutes away from winning the game, is what you're telling me.
They're also undefeated when they play Akali. So, you know, maybe we've got this, you know? Undefeated
when we take a tier 2.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are three pretty neat facts there.
All right, let's see if they can get all three and then still lose. But I like what happened there, by the way. This was actually pretty smart. There was a ward watching the invade, Inspired with a ward over the wall, had a chance of going for a smite steal. Canyon well-timed his last attack with the smite, so one camp each, as now Sejuani is on the bottom side, and Bel'Veth's going to keep farming.
But it's one camp taken away from the enemy jungle, right? Just starting enemy Raptors there instead of just 50-50ing on the smite. He claims the Raptors, goes back to his own Raptors, so he's already on his third camp here quite quickly. And it's going to be a reasonable spot. We'll have to see how these EG side lanes can hold on. That is what I'm most worried about here in the early stages, going up against this Draven. Plus, Renata very, very scary. Nuguri up on this top side. Going to be having a really good time against Impact's Orin, but if they can hold on, if they can wait to find some angles here with Inspired, there's always a possibility.
Yeah, that's what I'm keeping my eyes on. The wave on bot side hasn't crashed yet, and even when you look at where Canyon's positioned, right, it was moving back towards the top side, but now should start to creep down onto the spot end of things just to make sure that Duckdam and Kellen can get this wave crashed without any sort of issues from Inspired.
Showmaker lands the double Q as well. This is actually huge. Jejupun is pretty much out of regen already. That is actually a ton of power gain. Canyon finishes up his bottom side of the map. He knows there's a Krugs camp up, and he can play for top side now as well. Another pretty heavy trade, Jojo. Regening what he can. Showmaker now out of potions.
Yeah, Showmaker out of potions there. This is going to be a kind of a battle for him to actually get this pushed in as fast as he can, but Canyon's heading up towards top side. This Sejuani plus double melee solo laners, which is that dreaded combo up on the top side. But Inspired coming out here looking to potentially contest at this.
Both have smite.
I mean, it's Canyon's if he wants it. I think they must know. Yeah, there's question marks on that brush where Showmaker was actually recalling, so not going to look to actually contest that. And Inspired isn't even sure if there's two people at his blue buff, because they didn't see Showmaker finish that recall.
Yeah, that's the value recalling in a brush right now, so pretty smart stuff. He's gonna burn his TP, so now they know that he can't be there, so that's in fact Inspired walking all the way up, casting up the minimap, but Blue Buff has already taken Canyon, gets enough done with the head start, he smites it, and that is, hey, Raptor stuck on one side, Blue taken on the other is an advantage for Damwon Kia, and now Jojo has to be careful, does not get queued on, dodges most of the W, stays alive.
But this has been really good from Canyon so far, right? He's playing off the fact that they had push for Showmaker mid, Noguri and top.
Oh
my god.
Yeah, I mean, the man has so much damage, ranked W, I'm pretty sure, lands all the autos in that trade. Ooh, nice pull back though. Bubba's gonna land, duck them. He's low. First blood for EG. He's burning, but he's bailing out. First blood to Kaori.
EG striking the 2v2. Kaori with the kill there. Gets first blood, and they're going to be able to push in this wave here as well. That is massive for EG. It's even +2 summoners. Kaori didn't spend a single one, and Duckdom plus Kellen spent both.
It's such a big win, and the fact now that you can get control of this bot side, you still have Inspired that's able to play down here. You can start to look for things like Dragon. That's such a massive win, and you'll see here, Kellen flashes forward, gets the handshake, but Kaori's just free-hitting on Duckdom the whole time, knowing he can get the kill.
Exactly, that's the problem here about when you're all-inning onto the support. Vulcan even taunting there when he realizes he's made it out. But up on the top side, things looking a little bit grim for him. Back, he does have his TP, so he's going to have to farm this wave and then just TP back. But I mean, man, he is not getting any of this farm. Already down 2 full waves.
But Impact knows that, look, even if this goes completely askew, if we can get the rest of the map in our favor, we should be in a relatively okay spot. So now the big question for me is, like, how can EG try to power through on this bottom side? And it feels like trying to get Kaori this push on bot end, then immediately start to turn over towards Dragons, try to snowball this lead enough. So then, although Warren's behind, it won't play a massive factor come the mid game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bel'Veth is one of those champions that can actually solo up the Dragons relatively quickly, but we can see Inspired on the minimap is actually in that side brush. There are some question mark things down there, so Dom may be available.
Level 6 advantage, but Jojo going to be far enough away that Showmaker will not find the all-in yet. This wave will give Jojo 6, but safely till he gets the ulti, I imagine. Will be the case there. Inspired in the fog here. Shouldn't have been spotted going in. No summoners, but Drake's already being started. Styles on the way down as well. This is just getting a Drake, and even though Inspired's here, it doesn't matter. They're going to play for the objective.
Yeah, it should be Dom once. You can see Jojo still in mid. Inspired just really waiting a long time for this. Was hoping to get some sort of a over-aggressive move from Damwon. They have not looked for it just yet, but Canyon is coming down. The question is, can they win this 3v3? Canyon is coming around, and Inspired would be waiting. Remember, no sums.
Inspired hides the sweeper, and he hides the sweeper.
It.
On the dock, and they gotta go. He gets the knockup, jumps on in, bubble. That'll be the first kill, post bailout. Kaori gets the kill. Needs to do knockup. It's up in 5 seconds.
EG playing this out so damn well. The dodge on the sweeper there as Kellen steps forward, trying to sweep him out. But again, Showmaker getting aggressive here.
Ults for it too. Jojo's at half HP. But won't get anything more done right there. CS pretty much equal now in the mid lane, and it's 2-0 from the bot.
That was so well orchestrated by EG. You get Inspired, who's able to hide, but also the way that these two mid laners have been playing on their lanes has been really impressive. Look at where Jojo is. He showed that he moved top, so for DK, they think that the play is not happening on bot side, but because of that, Inspired manages to sneak in, and they get this great play on the bottom end. They're mind gaming Damwon so well.
I know, it's just the amount of patience shown there by EG was incredible. Inspired waiting a long time for that play, expecting that they would be coming down. And when he didn't contest on the Dragon, I think the read from Damwon is, okay, he's got to be doing his topside camps, but let's make sure we'll sweep out the pit. We'll see that he's not in the area, but just so well played. Canyon could be in a little bit of trouble here.
Level 6 finds a knockup. I mean, Canyon's always out, cues the wall, and Bel'Veth can't do anything about the one as well. So there's the blast plant, there's away. And yeah, Canyon realizing, okay, your top set is up. Great, that's some free money. Q's not going to land on the right target. Kaori cannot quite get the aim going, but handshake keeps him safe. Kellen takes the bad end of that trade.
Yeah, still nicely traded out there by Vulcan, and EG will have to push on this bottom side here. They're going to have to go back to base, and critically, we haven't even touched on it. You know, Duckdom dying twice already means his stacks are going to be set so far behind on the Draven, so that cash-in that you're always looking for really will be put so far down.
And also the fact that you've now got this massive Lucian that you can play around these early skirmishes for, right? You're going to get to crash these 2 waves, you reset, you can look to move up towards Rift Herald, but they're a little bit slow off that, and you can see immediately Canyon's like, cool, if you guys are going to stick around for these plates on bot side, I'm going to take Rift Herald, so you don't have that advantage that you can try and garner through the Bel'Veth.
I mean, it's just going to be this split map game, right? Very clearly, topside is that point of power for Damwon. Play towards Naguri, try to take away this Herald, try to snowball the game through this Aatrox, really make him that danger. Kaori about 1,300 gold or so ahead in the individual 1v1 against this Draven, which is massive. And Draven, again, losing those stacks. Every stack is worth 2.5 gold when you do get the cash in. You lose 75% on death. And he's only at 50 stacks right now. He'd be way up, but it's a 4-man from EG heading towards bot here. They could be in trouble.
Ward. They know it's 4v2. They've got the ward there. Nuguri, no TP. Ulti's going to land bubbles there as well. Cleanses it. A great handshake. Buys a ton. Vulcan drops. And they're not going to get anything yet. Finally coming in, but it's already the double kill. And he gets not quite bailed out, but a 4v2 dive goes 3-1 to Damwon Kia.
It's a disaster for EG, and now they want more top.
Gonna find a whole lot more. Stun to buy some time. He's gonna get the ulti on for the knockup, but the turret switches aggro. Canyon stays alive. Impact might be a chem away from dying. Cannot get his cannon. Will lose a turret plate. Maybe stays alive, but barely with his life.
Yeah, EG, such an overforce on that dive. They completely bungled it on bot side. It was just a really smart ulti from Duckdom, actually clearing out the wave before they could get that, and then they decided to make the play happen anyway. But as Vulcan walked through, it's a great handshake from Kellen, clapping them together, setting it up. They decided to try to force it anyway, but that pulls the Draven right back into the game. He was 1,300 gold behind. He gets 2 kills, gets the cash-ins. He's only a couple hundred gold down now, and top lane is dominating.
And this is where it starts to become an issue now that you haven't got these objectives for EG, especially Canyon moving down towards this bottom side. He wants to make his presence known with this Rift Herald.
While he goes on a ward, though, doesn't know it was there, but now with the control ward does, goes, okay, never mind. Play not to be made.
And this is where I really wanted to see EG trying to use Kaori and Vulcan's presence on this bot side to actually rotate them around the map. Like, look for the Rift Heralds now. They do end up getting 3 of these plates on bottom side, but the fact that your Bel'Veth is so good with the likes of the Rift Herald, the fact you haven't got any of these dragons, now you've got Duckdom back in the game, it feels like Damwon kind of are back in the driver's seat. The early game for DK has been absolutely incredible all throughout Worlds, and now we're starting to see them claw this one back as well.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, with the experience advantage that Duckdom has as well, you know, is up just hit level 7 is Kaori, and Duckdom's about 75%, 70% or whatever through that level. So a significant experience advantage. It does have the double kill, you know, working in towards what will be Shieldbow as that first mythic, and going to be in a pretty good spot when that comes through. Jojo in trouble now.
Well, wanted to go for something, doesn't go for it. Ulti not going to be useful while he's stealth, so saves the cooldown. Jojo will have to be safe next 20.
It's just about getting presence mid, though, because Dragon is up, and they want to see if they can try and rotate over that. Inspired, spotted on the ward.
Oh, they're going to try. Ulti over the wall. Beautifully done. Stun's going to land. Noah Minion blocks the hook.
I mean, get down, Mr. President. The minion will block that, but with the problem now for Impact on the top side, with Jojo forced the reset, definitely feels like you've got good control here for DK, as they will put down the Rift Herald in mid, getting Showmaker first turret, and so much gold into his back pocket.
Yeah, that's going to be full first tower there. Showmaker going to be way ahead in that individual 1v1. They're going to get the charge on the second tower, and they can even move down towards Dragon here as well, because without any mid prio, Inspired was never able to start it up.
Bubble and a culling is still going to be decent damage. Kellen will survive it. Walks over to his teammate to get Guardian to pop, then presses E. Shields the last half of the damage. Canyon here, no ulti. That's going to be called easily. Inspired was around, but there's no play.
But and as everyone starts to back away, like, this is where Damwon has been so crucial, right? They're 100% first towers in every single one of their games. They're tied first for Dragons per game, tied first for Herald percent as well. Damwon have been so good at finding these objectives and using that to snowball their leads. And even though we saw EG get this control in the early stages, that pressure for Damwon is starting to come in clutch for them again once more.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's be honest, it's an unforced error, really. You know, EG trying to pull off this 4v2. Without minions, the dives are always so risky because you can't get into position before you begin the dive, right? There's nothing to tank it up early. Jojo, again, being pressured. Canyon has just been constantly coming mid here, trying to push Jojo back. Showmaker already was doing very well in that 1v1, but they want to keep the pressure on. They want to be able to threaten those moves towards sides. And Duckdom now with the Mythic completed here, as it's rated Dirk on top, and it is Damwon again starting up the Dragon. The second one should be going their way, uncontested here. Yeah. They're the ones stacking the objectives.
And the problem is that, look, you can see the push already in mid for Showmaker, but it becomes even more devastating with that tier 1 now down. Showmaker gets the push in the wave. You can start to see DK creeping that ward, that vision line forward as well, to open up these avenues to attack bottom. So suddenly the fact that that bot lane tower is low becomes very difficult for EG to capitalize on, because they're under constant pressure from Showmaker, just leaning away from the mid lane and moving down towards that bottom side.
Red buff drops the cross map for Inspired, but I don't think there's a way that Nuguri dives into 2v1 here. Eclipse is done. I don't think you possibly have the damage. Canyon comes around and says, hey, must have been here recently. My red is gone.
There's an interesting interaction actually with Aatrox. I believe with Swifty Boots, you can actually walk out the long way through the Infernal Chains.
Yeah.
So you don't actually have to dodge to the side. So I've been seeing more people do this kind of interesting tech in that matchup. I'm not sure how big of a difference it's going to make in this one, but have been seeing more commonly on a variety of different champions, whether ranged or melee, because it allows you to kind of dodge out in a different way than you would otherwise have to against those Infernal Chains.
The interesting part is Orin has W or E. Either one could basically bake that ability. Ulti's not quite going to land for Kellen. Inspired's going to be safe. Every ability still up for him, but with all the pressure towards top side, you can see Impact forced to drop the wave. Turret goes down. Nuguri, gigantic here. 144 CS, highest in the game.
Yeah, it's just so punishing. You know, it's hard to not keep going back towards that bot side dive, because Impact was always expected to lose, but you can't lose both sides and still generally win the game, because Inspired now gets tracked through his jungle. He's losing all sort of pressure, all sort of control. With both side lanes now losing, Canyon just keeps walking through mid, but they're looking for Nuguri, who has his ultimate and Kellen here. They don't have the damage for this.
I don't think it's pretty likely. Yeah, gonna jump back away. Out he goes for Inspired, but they're still pulling Lucian over. He is on 2 items, has a full rapid fire cannon done. You gotta push out Canyon, who's like, actually, I'll just eat oranges. You're gonna be fine.
But this is the thing, Damwon were just trying to buy time. You had Dukdam coming out of base, Showmaker getting control of mid, and now they're the ones that should have the ultimate advantage as well coming into this, because they still have Canyon's engage tool.
Jojo gonna spot Nuguri, gonna be pushed around, jumps away, and now Canyon ready to play for the smite fight. Damage to the Kellen, force the flash away. Showmaker has an Orin ult himself now. Who's gonna win the fight? 90 health. Oh, it's picked up there. Herald goes over, plus the kill. Down goes Inspired with a smite, with a flash, with everything. And Impact's gonna be next. He's gonna run for his life, jumping away, but Showmaker's on the chase. The ulti, not quite the execute. Showmaker gets the kill. But guess what? Now it's a 5 versus 3, same as the kill score. Looking for a bit more in the front line there. Diving in. Dukdam gonna go down. Kill goes to Cowrie, but he's gonna be stunned. Perfect cleanse. Still cannot get away from the front line, though. The Bash Brother's gonna find him as he jumps for his life. Blue smite to kite him, and Nuguri gets the kill. And now Vulcan's got nowhere to go. Blast plans for some time, and Summoner teleport will get the Akala to safety. They won't lose everyone, but Vulcan will certainly drop here. A 4-1 team fight. They also got the Rift there. Damwon Kia are slaughtering. Poised to fight for first place.
Massive for Damwon. That feels like it was a huge swing for EG. They're trying to fight there. They have the 2-item power spike for Lucian. They wanted to try to find the angle to really get an advantageous fight, but you spent the Orin ulti trying to chase down Nuguri, and it didn't really matter that he was missing the Aatrox ult. Showmaker comes in from the side, has such a good angle with that stolen Orin ulti. They make it look really, really easy, and then, you know, as EG are getting corralled, they realize there's no way to fight this one out, so they just try to dive in, see if they can make something happen.
And it doesn't get any easier for EG now either. You've got Rift Herald available for DK. You've got Dragon available in a minute and a half. I mean, Damwon just hold on to this Rift Herald. You try and contest them at Rift Herald. Well, cool. We just place the Rift Herald down in mid lane, take that tier 2, put pressure on towards your base. And again, it just becomes so difficult now for EG to try and do anything on the map without Damwon giving them the opportunity to contest them.
Wave clear for Jojo Funzakala here, 1-1-1. She trails Worlds in Kubo Spation and actually KDA of mid laners in the group stage, but we have a bit of a better game here up against Damwon. He will knock down this wave and keep his gold up. It's still at 4,500 gold lead. They're at objective bounties. That is how much Damwon are winning this game. Still able to be the #1 team in the group, and they are crushing EG early on.
And for EG, I think it's just going to be about trying to find some sort of picks, right? You know, try to hover behind this Orin, maybe use the Orin ulti, try to find some sort of a 2v1 or a 3v1 play to really advance the game forward for them. Because they can't really match up in these 1v1s whatsoever now. And Damwon going to be dropping the Herald. That'll be the last of the outers falling here for EG. Canyon just doing such a great job shadowing a lot of these solo laners. And now, Showmaker here. They're trying to look for that pick.
Going pretty well, gonna find the ulti there. You got Inspired coming around as well. They should have the damage, you gotta believe. As he comes around, the auto still landing in. Gets a quick stun. There's the E press, he jumps in for a little bit more, and Showmaker has the heal back up in a second. Will it matter is the question. just barely make it happen. Now on the bottom side, Canyon will drop as well. EG, signs of life as they force death from DK.
Yeah, EG doing the right thing. They have to just drop waves, except that you're going to make some losses on one lane to try to get something else in the other lanes here. They do lose the mid tier 1, but they get a kill in top, they get a kill in bot. They've got to survive here, though.
A bit much. Bubble has to be cleansed away. Ducktime going to stay alive. Bubble, one of the knockouts you actually can CC away. It's tagged to a stun.
I think they got to make up their mind, though, for EG here, right? You can see they're considering pushing for that top tier 1, but Dragon is up. I would have much preferred to see the reset coming through from Impact Inspired so they could have contested third Dragon. It felt like with Showmaker down, with the kills that they gotten on top and bot, this was their moment to buy that time in the game, but they just decided not to.
Yeah, I think the concern is perhaps that they're missing all their ultis. You know, without those ultis, maybe they're not really going to be able to compete in a fight. But I agree, it's going to be very, very tough now. It's a 19-minute soul point here. So we're looking at 24 minutes or so that Damwon can grab that soul. And Cowrie and Vulcan very far out here have been spotted now.
Has TP, great preempt by Kellen, but he cleanses away. Needs to land the autos, but he'll get bailed out by himself. Kill comes across and Vulcan will not survive this one. Ducktime on the chase down, a big payout.
And now you got Damwon once more with full control over the map. They're going to push in. They're going to get the vision. They might have picked Inspired as well.
Wolf, yeah, Inspired's in a bad spot. No flash. Velo can press E for a second for just a bit of damage reduction, but he's late on it anyway. He was stunned for most of that damage. Blocks almost nothing.
It's starting to fall apart for EG. It had looked good in the early stages, but Damwon have firmly put their foot down, and this Cowrie and Vulcan, that bit too overextended, and just immediately Damwon collapsed in mid lane. You even got Showmaker and Canyon as well coming in from that top side. There's just nowhere to escape when you're that far up.
Exactly, and that's exactly why we saw Cowrie try to look for that kill. He tries to go aggressive here, tries to kill off the Renata, because there was no way out with Canyon and Showmaker behind him, but locked up, stunned up, and burst down. Inspired does get the E off, but it's not really going to do anything for him there. And then again, back to live now. Jojo once more in trouble.
Flashes, he has a blast cone, will get back away, but that is still a summoner spell down. Advantage, Damwon Kia.
Yeah, no flash, no ulti now for Jojo, who is going to be sent back to base here. And they're going to have to find some way to find a fight here in 3.5. That is going to be really their last shot. I don't think there's any chance to come back to find those picks if you give over this early of a Mountain Soul. So for EG, it's going to be about getting out on the map, trying to establish vision around that dragon and finding a winning fight, which is going to be very difficult to do.
Especially when you just don't have control over mid-wave, right? Cowrie and Vulcan can't really step up because it took Dom and Kellen. You don't have control over side lanes either. So actually getting onto a position on the map where you can control your jungle, look for picks and not get picked yourself is really hard.
Gale Force forced out of Cowrie. Does hold his own flash available, but that is another important cooldown missing. It'll be back up time for the Drake. Showmaker wants his fight 1v2. Gonna find his knockup, and Inspired just doesn't even press E to take the damage reduction. Just gets completely chunked out. He's gone.
Yeah, I mean, all of Damwon's coming in, so even if he does pop it, it's not going to really do anything for him there. And it's just looking like straight to Baron here for Damwon. This is starting to feel like lights out. Now, EG can look to try to take a swing, see if they can find any sort of an angle to make a play happen here. It's desperation hours now.
Or an ulti in. They know they have no smite, but they're going to hope for some kind of a prayer. In goes Jojo. Looking to find an execute. Going to be smited away cleanly. Up by Canyon. 4v5. Likely to be a win for Damwon, but it's actually a single pick coming across. Jojo's alive. Jumps in with a bailout. Means there is no kill to be had. Renata turns it around. And here comes Showmaker to do it all that much better. Has the Akali okay for the target yet. Cowrie low. Going to be jumped upon. Flash to safety. And it's not going to be a kill. There's nothing else to pick up. Impact flashes away, but not far enough out.
EG are trying their damnedest, but Damwon are just too far ahead at this stage. With the Baron in their back pocket, they will reset. And this Red Bull Baron power play is about to become very, very large, especially when you look towards the Mountain Dragon in a minute 40 as well.
I mean, Damwon just crushing the game at this point. So far ahead this early on that, you know, potentially after this soul, that could be the game ender here. It's a great Baron call. They get the pick onto Inspired. They go for the kill here. EG had to try something. It's just desperation hours, right? There's no way to play the game out from a normal state. And Jojo gets into the back line, really disrupting things, buying some time for the team, forces the bailout there onto Kellen, but they can't quite burst him down. And then Cowrie here, as he steps forward, a little bit of an overchase onto Showmaker, walking into Ducktime, gets punished massively.
And while this is heartbreaking for Evil Genius fans, if you're an LCK fan, this is exactly the form that you want to see Damwon coming into this with. If they want to dethrone JDG, this is the kind of level you want to see them playing with, and they want to be hitting hard against the first seed from the LPL.
Oh, good stun on the front line. Joe doesn't have a lot he can do. Is able to Shroud to not take any auto attacks, then walks back for some more regen. We get the Baron Siege. We have a Mountain Soul in 40 seconds. 2,600 gold to the Red Bull Baron power play. Damwon looking for inhibitors.
And even if you're not cheering for the LCK, if you're just cheering for more games between Damwon and JDG, they need to win this, obviously, for that tiebreaker. But EG looking for a pick now.
Combo, they want to burst him across. Nuguri will drop a 1-0, and that's going to be timed perfectly. But, jeez. The ulti means a kill. Goodbye to Vulcan.
I mean, that is the power of the hostile takeover against auto attackers. Bel'Veth is an auto attack champ. He just chops him down.
We got round 2. Inspire takes a couple auto attacks there from Doctom. And we know Showmaker can engage with the Oran Horn himself, but if there's ever a time, it's EG having to go for broke right now. Front line of Canyon. Inspire can't find his way in, but a handshake gets him out of the Shroud, and Jojo's gonna die. He's been stunned, and he's gonna die. Kill goes over to the AD carry, and now they're going for the whole rest of it. Inspire doesn't have a good way out. Ulti, he will dodge away from, but round 2, Canyon looking for the slow, looking for the stun, and Showmaker's already got one. Over the wall goes Inspired, and will he even live is the question. Canyon, ulti, finds it. Yet again, the jungle dip is in 1, 2, and 7.
And that feels like it's just going to be the game. Damwon are in front of the base. They've got the Baron buff still available for the next few seconds. They just need to keep these 2 minion waves alive, and they can go for it.
They want Mountain Soul, they can go for it instead. Right now, they have pushed in the mid wave, and since Baron buff is ending this moment, to go Shurelia's to run away and claim Mountain Soul. Gold lead is 10,000, and it's going to get even worse.
Yeah, no need to take any sort of a risk here at this point. Just grab the soul, secure the victory. They also have so much gold in pocket when you're looking, over 2,000 there on Showmaker, a good 1,500 on Doctom, so going to be able to spend all that up. But EG, they've got to look for these sorts of picks. It is the knock-up into the double bubble. The ultimate comes through from Nami. The ultimate comes through from Oran. They're able to burst down those kills, but look at the auto attack damage. He gets Infernal Chains back into his team and just beat down.
I mean, Kaori ended up cleansing that super late as well. Nami was already gone sushi before he managed to get away from that one. And look, for EG, this was do or die. You knew the Mountain Soul was going to be coming up, but unfortunately, just couldn't quite get into a position to carry. Doctom is safe. Showmaker is doing so much work at this stage. And Damwon looking poised to close this game out.
Needs the chase down. Good ult by Canyon. Because that's the whole time. Love his build, by the way. Bombies into Warmogs. I absolutely love early Warmogs on tank junglers because it means that you are full health between every fight and just play your job again. And you're full mana by walking in the jungle for 5 seconds. So you are permanent uptime on literally everything. Love this build. He's got a Sunfire Aegis up now, but I think Canyon's build actually really is incredible, and more junglers should build exactly like him.
I mean, we're seeing a lot more junglers just delaying their mythic on tanks. We're seeing a lot more Anathema's rush as well, which I think can be quite powerful also, especially against those one carry teams or even just for the negative tenacity. So more and more people, I feel like, trying these different builds and trying to delay their mythic on tanks because people just aren't, I think, finding it as effective anymore these days.
Walking up, looking for another turret to kill. Baron gone. Mountain Soul up makes them feel very safe, and JJ does not have lethal threat here. No handshake, but the turret's going to drop. He wants XP from what he can. He's got Inspired behind him to back up if there was a dive, but there isn't one. Canyon going to be happy to walk up front line. Lose the passive, doesn't care.
One small bright spot for EG is that the IE is completed now for Kaori. It's kind of all eggs in the Kaori basket, but punching through the Mountain Soul when you're down over 10k is going to be so incredibly difficult here. And Damwon pushing all 3 waves in, trying to play the map, just trying to close out this game. Really, really stock standard stuff here. Not allowing EG to find any sort of a window in.
Jojo spotted, though. He's got the Shroud, who would have to eat backwards. Let's get reinforcements. Doctom comes across. This is the play. All the ulti's coming across. Will there be a kill? Doctom gets his first kill, and they're going to get Inspired next. The shield bow simply too good. A double kill through for the Draven. And now it is a 5v3. They never even needed the Aatrox.
I mean, it's an easy pickup there for Damwon, and they will march into the base. Kaori!
Flashing for the stun, he preempts it, beautifully aimed. And another kill is coming across. Vulcan can run back to his base. Sure, he'll live a tidal wave. Buys a bit of time, he flashes to save the impact, and watch as the base turns to rubble. Evil Geniuses will fall to 1-5. They will tie for 3rd, 4th in the group. Damwon Kia can fight for first. Yet another LCK team getting to the group stage without a sweat at all. They go for the final kills on the Nexus. under the fountain. He's a bit too tanky for it. Nexus will fall. Damwon key in 28 minutes. Maybe find a single extra kill, knock down the Nexus.
Really nice game from Damwon overall. Some bright spots for EG in the early moments. Getting the kill in that 2v2 bot lane, being able to push that ahead with some clever pathing and some good patience from Inspired. But as soon as that bot lane dive went wrong, it felt like the game was completely out of control. Dogtown finishing with 9 kills after being put down that much in the early levels. In fact, was always going to struggle in that top lane matchup, but it was supposed to be EG, getting something done on the other side of the map to hopefully make that worthwhile. But at the end of the day, the levels are just too different between these two teams. I think Damwon really showcasing just how strong they are. This will be the final game, unfortunately, for Evil Geniuses here at Worlds. We're able to pick up 1 win today, a dominant one over G2, finally snapped that losing streak. So something to be happy about for them, but it is Damwon that are going to be challenging for the top of the group, and it's EG whose time is done.
And I think, again, we're seeing how good Damwon are when it comes towards that early objective control, right? 100% first tower rate so far at Worlds. They only just lost out in the first blood percent in this game, but they're still tied for the most dragons per game. They were tied for the most Rift Herald per game percent, I should say, coming into the start of the day as well. They've been so good at understanding how they can push these games forward, even when they start off behind like they did this game.
And we'll see him again. We'll see him fighting for first place up against Unity. That is going to be exciting. Stay tuned for Game 6 and maybe Game 7. Now, while we prepare an Evil Geniuses interview, we are breaking down this game at the State Farm Analyst Desk.